When will you marry? Where is your husband? You know you're the oldest in the family. Where will you marry? That starts. Aunties, pressure gets worse. It gets worse, especially if you are from an African heritage. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zogi and I'm a Gemini, which is why this channel is called Zogi the Gemini. So today I'm talking about something that I don't think I've ever explicitly spoke about on my channel before, which is the fact that you are nearly 30 and you are unmarried. Now, this statement also applies to me. I really want to discuss the whole concept of marriage, the origin, the necessity, what marriage is and what black marriages are, especially what Caribbean or African marriages are. Now, if you're interested to hear what I have to say, then make sure you stay tuned, and whilst you're there, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Now let's get into this video. So you know how one conversations, if you are like, I feel like, when do aunties start? I think aunties start from like 21. I could be wrong, they may have started younger, I'm not sure, but when you're in uni they don't really bother you about marriage. When you leave that educational institution, when will you marry? Where is your husband? You know you're the oldest in the family. Where will you marry? Your younger siblings cannot get married before you. That starts. Aunties, the pressure of marriage, pressure gets worse. It gets worse, especially if you are from an African heritage, especially West African, either Ghanaian or Nigerian. At that age, I feel like a lot of women, aunties, start to question as to when do you plan to get married. The later you get in your 20s, that's when the pressure even gets more, and that's like the leading conversation. It's either they discuss your way or your parents, or they discuss the fact that you are not married yet. And today I want to debunk the whole concept of marriage and what marriage was supposed to be, and what marriage we actually see in today's society, especially if you're first or second generation, in a sense that your parents were not born in this country, or if if you're based in a Western country, America, the UK, Germany, France, whichever country. Now, one of the things that hurts me the most here is that I feel like a lot of us have not really seen what marriage is truly supposed to be. And I feel like that's why there's such a disparity between Disney type of love, like Disney romance, and what we see in today's society. Nonetheless, there's disparity between Disney's version of romance and actual romance. I know there's a big difference. Like that whole princess treatment, I know no matter what country you're from, what race you're from, there is a disparity with how it actually is in real life. But I feel like the disparity, the line is much bigger when you're growing up looking at all of this like affection, the softness, that's kind of like submissive, but in the best ways possible when it comes to the relations between a man and a woman. And then you look at a typical Nigerian marriage. Now, I don't know about you, but there's a big difference, and it's almost like, and I've said this before, I almost feel like a lot of us that are first generation or second generation, our parents' marriage is a combination of things. It was not just due to love. It's societal pressure at the time, especially when they're in Nigeria or whatever country they're from, to actually get married by a particular age. And also that cultural pressure, in a sense that, everyone is married by this age, everyone has a child at this age. So it wasn't necessarily like your dad or your mum were the best fit for each other. Sometimes it's a case where they were the best out of a bad bunch, or they were the best person available. Now, growing up and seeing this type of marriages, even my aunties, even my own mum and dad, like seeing it's definitely made me look at marriage different, because I'm just like, for them, I feel like, and I'm going to talk about Nigerian parents and African parents because that's what I relate to the most, and that's why, it's easier for me to come from that angle. I feel like a lot of their marriages, has stayed together because, you know, there's this whole essence of, you know, a Nigerian woman say, no one can't break my marriage, no one can't break my marriage. The guy can be beating the living daylight of her. The guy could be having, he could have so many, that's why most Nigerians have half sisters. Like, that's why they'll say, yeah, my mom has 3 children but my dad has 9 children. Like, it is a very standard practice that the man will have multiple wives or multiple baby mothers, and it's like, it's not, we don't blink on it. Do you get what I mean? There's a, do you know how many times I've heard someone say, yeah, my mom has this amount of children and my dad has this amount of children, because it's become a standard practice. And a lot of time their mum was the first wife, or their mum, or like their mum has the oldest child, which means their dad was with their mum first, and then he decided to do what I guess society allowed them to do, which is basically offspring to any person that was willing to have his child. And that shaped a lot of marriages, in a sense that there's this whole idea of a man will be a man will do what he wants. So as I said, even if the guy is beating the woman, even if the guy is cheating on her, and you know, when aunties tell their stories, aunties say it, and it's sad, it's like aunties are arguably victims that don't realize they're victims. Because when I've been in so many situations when aunties are like comparing the hardship that they have went through in their marriage, they'll be like, oh, there was a time he was seeing his colleague, he was trying to beat me, but I beat him. It's like, they will compare, and then another one will be like, oh, you know how many girlfriends I had to scare away? Do you know how many times I had to go to their house and warn them of my husband and tell them? Like, I remember one auntie said, yeah, her husband was like dealing with like 3 girls at one time, like her included, so 2 other people. And then what she would do, she would take her 5 kids to both of whoever his concubine is, to always take his 5 kids to their house, yeah, and be like, I know you want to sleep with my husband, I know you want to be with my husband, but look at the baggage you have to come with, look at the baggage he comes with, look at the people, I'm his wife, look at the ring, da 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 da. And aunties see that as like triumph. Like, what they done, the extent that they went to run away the women that their husband was sleeping with, that her husband was entertaining, and they will never have the energy for the man, because in their head they've been raised to understand that a man will be a man, and the women are always the problem. Don't get me wrong, if you're sleeping with a guy, you're dealing with a guy, and you know damn well this guy is married, this guy has children. That's why when it comes to uncles, when uncles try to talk to me, I laugh and I keep that shit moving, because it's not me. And the worst thing is, the uncle will treat you way better than he will ever treat his wife. Men have this stupid mentality where they treat like the girlfriend or the mistress much better than a wife, and the wife, especially if it's a Nigerian woman, will stay there, she'll soldier through, and as the years go by, she doesn't realize that she's adding trauma. So many aunties have such a traumatic experience of marriage, and they do not realize this. But above anything, yeah, okay, cool, they went through the hardship with their marriage, they're still going through, the uncle's still trying to move to me, uncle's still trying to chat to me, but nonetheless they're still going through what they're going through, yeah. But because, like, I feel like for Nigerian women, yeah, they want to have this whole, oh, when they go to the party, they're wearing one gilly, like one lace, the actual care, whether the husband is wearing it too. They want the whole essence of, yeah, my marriage is so perfect, that we're still together, look at our children, the children are wearing one thing, you know, the husband is wearing, we're all wearing one thing. They love that social praise of being a nuclear family, and their family still holding in place, despite all of the things that's going on, despite the man's lack of respect for both the marriage and the woman and even the children. The guy will have no regard for the woman's mental well-being, emotional well-being, even spiritual well-being. He will do what he's gonna do, and he knows the woman's not gonna say nothing, she's not gonna do anything, she's not gonna leave, simply because of all of the things that I've listed before, because she wants to be seen as like, yeah, my husband is still with me. So what is weird is that same auntie, you know, the party I was talking about where the husband is wearing, and the husband is trying to eye you up, and the husband is trying to touch you on the sly, yeah, and the little kids are on their iPads, yeah, and auntie's there like gallivanting around like she's literally God's best creation, auntie will then come to you and ask you why you're not married. And you're thinking, auntie, even if I was just to go off your own marriage, even if I was just to base it off your own marriage, your version of marriage, what you've gone through, what you're going through, why the fuck will I want to put myself through that? Why? Where I have to become this strong woman that withstands that my husband verbally, emotionally, physically abusing me, the disgrace. Where I have to put myself through all of that. And that's where my problem is. I feel like a lot of black marriages, it's literally, the whole story is you have to, it's like struggle love. Struggle love is what really defines a lot of older generation marriages. And people will be like, oh, these, in this day and age, there's so many divorces. Of course there's divorces, because bruv, if the guy hits me, if the guy puts his hands on me, I am gone. Now, auntie, I know, aunties have the say, oh yeah, I hospitalized my husband. I used the knife. I used the iron. Do how many stories I've heard, guys, where aunties will be like, they even use like the back of the hammer, not the actual hammer, but like the bottom of the hammer. They used it to hit the husband. Yeah, he went to the hospital, and then he was in the hospital for a bit because she kind of like, nonetheless, and they see it as like badge of honor. This is how I dealt with it. But really and truly, you never had to deal with it, auntie. You could have left. You would have lived a happier life if you just left. Now, I've even asked aunties, what made you stay in this marriage? And all of the things I've listed is generally things that they will say. But they will say, oh, I don't want people to feel like they can look down on me. But it's like, you're living for the validation of others, and two women will be going through a madness in their marriage, absolute madness. And because they don't, imagine that Auntie Choma and Auntie Fumi, Choma and Fumi, Choma husband, goes between her and America because uncle has a family, extended family, even grandchildren in America. Anytime Auntie Choma questions her husband about why does he go to America for like 5 months straight, she's met with a slap. She's met with a backhand. Then we got Auntie Fumi. Auntie Fumi's husband, he's refused to work. He said that because of all of the things that's going on, he doesn't want to work anymore. And if she loves the marriage, she has to do more. She has to contribute. She has to hold the family. As the woman, she has to hold the family. And him, he's there taking his time. Uncle has no money. Uncle ain't got money, but uncle's still going to LA Lounge. Uncle's still trying to buy bottles for girls. Uncle's there telling the girls, like, I can change your life. I can do so much for you. And when auntie says anything to uncle, when Auntie Fumi says anything to uncle, the guy says, be quiet, you're making it up in your head. Now, Auntie Fumi and Auntie Choma and Fumi are now beefing to show get who husband has it, who does this, the family done that, we went in Kedge and this, we went Lekki, we built a house, but both of them are unhappy, but they are in a mental battle with each other. And this is the marriage, the type of marriages that you guys want me to have. This is the marriage that you're running towards. And that's why I'm saying there's such a disparity between, for me, growing up, and it was such a battle because, when you read novels and you're looking at TV, marriage was always like it was a journey. You understand? It can get difficult, it can get troubled, but at the end of the day, it's still a lovely experience. If, even when you're going through hardships and you're going through the low times, you still are bonded and unified by the love you have for each other and the respect and you have for each other, and that just general wanting to be in each other's space no matter what the world throws at you. That was my understanding of marriage. I knew marriage wasn't all fairy tale. I knew it wasn't happy. Sometimes you're gonna go through things, you know what I mean? Life is gonna happen, but nonetheless, because of the love and respect you have for each other, you're gonna be able to persevere through it. Now, what I was actually surrounded by, the type of marriages I was surrounded by, I saw the journey, but bruv, I didn't see flipping journey. I saw hardship, I saw crying, I saw blood, I saw tears, I saw injuries. I have one auntie, yeah, like her husband knocked, like he broke her eye socket. He actually broke her eye socket. Like the auntie, like I always wondered why her eyes were low. She couldn't open her was it the right eye? Because of how I'm facing you guys. But she was still with him. A guy actually changes your facial appearance. He disfigures you. And I saw that so many times. And that the same auntie that will come and ask you, when are you going to get married? Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to get married. I'm definitely going to get married. I want to get married. But all this societal pressure from aunties, it can never be me, because it's like, auntie, you got married for two different reasons. I'm gonna get married for love, and I know it sounds naive, it sounds, you know, for, utopian, but bruv, the guy I'm gonna marry, I'm gonna love the hell out of him. I want to spend every single day of the rest of my life with this guy. Not because my auntie or not because my dad thinks, oh, he's a good fit for me, or not because, you know, when I go to the union, people are going to be saying, husband is this, husband is that. No, I'm going to get married before the person and not the benefits that come with it. If there's benefits that come with being with that person, then so be it. Thank God for that. But not because I just see it as, you know, I can brag with this person despite the atrocities that he's putting me through. And I feel that's why I just don't take it too hard. And that's why I started this video off with, like, you're nearly 30 and you're unmarried. But you have to realize, like, the marriages that we've grown up with, yeah, as I said, when they came to this country, a lot of them came to this country to start a new life. Yeah, they wanted better for their life, and they wanted better for their future generation. And I thank my parents for doing that. I thank them for taking that courage, because can you just imagine that all of the people, you know, your grandparents, your parents were all born in Nigeria, raised in Nigeria, and you're the first person in this in your lineage to decide, you know what, I don't want to finish my life in Nigeria. I want to finish my land. I want to finish my life in another country, in a white-based country where there's not a lot of people that look like me, that my food is not there, my culture is not there, they're not going to have a really good understanding of me, my English is not that good, but because I understand the importance of equipping my future generation with all of the things they would ever want in this world, I'm going to go to this country, I'm going to make this bold decision and actually, you know, go there. I'm going to go there and actually take this risk. And I respect aunties for that. I respect uncle for that. But one thing we have to understand is that they left their home country and went to another country. Now, if the man is doing a madness, yeah, you have to deep that all of the things that they've gone through, they're not in the comfort of their own home. I'm not saying if they were in Nigeria, they were gonna take it or they're gonna, you know, stay with him. There's so many factors to take into consideration. Like, you've come to this country, you've got 3 children. Let's say auntie's been here for like, what, 8 years, yeah? You've got 3 kids. Your husband is doing a madness, but you don't have any family here. You haven't been really able to work because of, you know, having kids and looking after your children, so you don't have that much money. So if the guy is doing a madness, if the guy is treating you any type of way, you just have to firm it. Now that's the beginning, that's when it starts. Now if that was just the case, yeah, then I understand why aunties will stay in that marriage, because really and truly they're in a foreign land and they don't have any resources to help them out. Do you get what I mean? It's just them and the man. And yeah, maybe they may have some friends that they've made along the way, but nowhere strong enough for them to actually have a solid support to leave the toxic situation that they're in. But aunties will go through that. Their kids will become grown-ups. Their kids will become adults. But that mentality, that judgment is still there. Now that's what I don't understand. I understand as to when your children are young and you can't leave the marriage and but you will go through, your children are graduates. You went through all of that. You are in a good position now. You're in a solid position. You know how much you cried. You know everything you went through. You got to where you are now, and you still have the idea of, yeah, a girl who's young and has so much to give should stay with a man despite no matter what. the struggle, love. So with that being said, if you're feeling pressured for marriage, you need to understand that. Why is it that you want to be married? Like, what is your motivation? Is it because your aunties and your mom and all of them are saying get married, you need to get married by this age, you need to get married by this age? You need to take into consideration why they got married, why they stayed in that marriage. Is that situation the same as yours? These aunties did not get married in England, they got married in Nigeria way back when. Your situation, the lifestyle, the background is not the same. Your upbringing is not the same. You don't need to get married quickly to anyone simply because you want to leave the country and you want someone that will help you whilst you start a new life in another country. That is not... in some way, it's weird because it's like individual, I'm going back and forth, but in some ways, yeah, if you're African, our parents ran so we could walk. They improved our access to wealth. I'm not saying that if they're in Nigeria that you won't have money, but even if it's just a currency you deal with, do you get what I mean? Even if they've just given you the opportunity to deal in a higher currency, in a stronger currency, like your parents has done that for you. So you need to understand that your journey and these aunties' journeys and these uncles' journeys and your parents' journeys are not the same. So it's really, you have to understand what is your reason and your understanding of marriage, and it's like, what does marriage mean to you? Now, this video, like, I feel very, very, very like invested in it because there's so much, like, I would want to say. There's so many things that I've seen that I wouldn't put on the internet, do you know what I mean? Because it's not my story to tell. But I just feel like, regardless of anything, if you don't feel ready for something and you know within your heart you are waiting for something or someone, you need to have the ability to withstand any type of pressure that's going to come your way. And you need to really assess the type of pressure that's even coming, and assess, I'm not trying to be rude, but assess the people. If they're saying hurry up and get married because they're married, look at their marriage, assess their marriage. Look at the reason as to why their marriage is even still intact. Is it genuinely because of love? Is it because of respect? Or is it out of duty? And is it out of fear? Or loneliness? Or disgrace? Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. Please comment down below if you can relate to me. If you're first generation, or you're even not even just black, or you're an ethnic minority and you get the gist of what I'm saying, please do comment down below and let me know your thoughts on everything that I've discussed. And whilst you're there, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.